All right, we are going to be talking about the brush tool today, and there's a lot of fun things you can do with the brush tool. When you select the brush tool, the colors that will come out are here in your color palette. They're foreground and your background color. And this is your control panel up top. This lets you know what's going on with your brush, okay? There's a lot of different things you can do with this brush. There is the basic brush, and I've got a lot of brushes that I kind of uploaded. But this is a general brush. Let's just go with soft round. And here's a soft round brush with that color here. Now the thing that I am doing is a soft edged anti-aliased brush. So if you zoom in, actually, the softness comes from transparent pixels that are applied to the edges here to make it look softer. Alright, so if I zoom in really close, you can see there's a bunch of different layers of pixels of different opacities until you actually get to the 100% opaque, not transparent pixel, which is here. So that's what a soft brush does, is it kind of has a layer of opacity around the edges. When you are using the fill bucket, it is very evident what is going on. I'm going to use the fill bucket with a different color, black, and you can see what is going on here. The fill bucket goes up to the edges, but here are the 20 or 30 pixels width of different opacities that we're showing here. Does that make sense? Now watch the difference when I am using the pencil tool. So here's the pencil tool, and I'm going to fill it up to the edge. The pencil is a different story. The pencil has no anti-aliasing, okay? Even if I had used the brush tool, and had a very, very hard edge, you would still see there's a line here. That line, even a brush with the hardest setting, will always still have at least 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3 pixels of edge to it, and that edge is a softened edge. It's hard to get that, especially if you're doing like coloring pieces or something like that, using the fill bucket to get that to go properly. All right, it doesn't work right. So that's why when I'm trying to use the fill bucket on that exact same layer, I use the pencil brush. It's good for outlining. All right, the way to make your brush larger and smaller, the quick keys are left and right bracket. The only way to see the cursor is by not having caps lock on. If you have caps lock on, you will not see the cursor. All right? So I won't know if I'm making it larger or smaller. All right? I will need to turn off caps lock to see that. And you can see it pretty well here. That is the way to do that. If you're trying to do the hardness, and this is all in the overview packet, hardness is here. I use the gauge here to let me know, but I believe there's a quick key for it. We'll go over that later. I wanted to go over with you primarily how to use the different brushes and find different brushes. All right, there is a lot of brushes in general brushes, and I like to go down to this one called legacy brushes. These are from old Photoshop. If you don't have legacy brushes, you can add legacy brushes by pressing the gear and adding them or appending them to your list. And inside of here, you'll see there's one called the grass brush. It should be near the bottom. Here it is. Dune grass, and then there's dune grass, and then there's grass. I like the dune grass because it's almost like hair. Watch how it comes out. Isn't that fun? What's happening here is that depending on the amount of flow, the opacity, and all these different things that we had, remember you did the stencil project before, so you have your dissolve brush on. Make sure your mode is set to normal. When I go to the folder of this brush, it shows me those settings. And you can see on this brush in particular, it has shape dynamics. Those shape dynamics, the size jitter, depending on how fast it's flowing out and the pressure you're putting onto it, has this flowing out at a certain size. The diameter, All right, it changes with the pressure that you're using on your stylus. Angle can be changed as well, so it goes all over the place. The roundness, playing around with that. You can actually create your own brush from nothing as well. Here's scattering. This is the count, or the amount of distance they are scattering across. I'm going to get my angle back down to normal. Here's the scattering. Don't need it to be too scattered. All right. Color dynamics is what I really wanted to show you too. So color dynamics, it is toggling between the foreground and the background. Okay, so I've got black and this weird brown. If I change that foreground color to a green and that weird brown, now you'll see the dual brush is going between those two. All right, between the two different colors. And if I'm changing the hue jitter, it'll kind of just throw in there every once in a while a weird color. See, it's got some blues and pinks and reds in there. Turn it off, it's just going to go directly between the foreground and the background color. Let me increase the minimum diameter, size, jitter, okay, scattering, okay, count, increasing the count. There we go. All right, now I can go back in here and you can kind of see what's going on. All right, that background color I'm going to make pink. Now we can see the size, the jittery between the two dual brushes. So again, you can really do some fun stuff playing around with this. What I've done in the past is I've done a couple of layers of a smaller brush. All right. Gone up 2 sizes, gone up 2 sizes, gone up 2 sizes, and you can kind of see and create almost this meadow going back into the background. All right, so this is the brush tool. It works with pressure sensitivity as well. This is your pressure sensitivity that should be working with your brushes already. I want you to use the brush somewhere in your project.